nervous system. One of the ways to bring your nervous system into ventral vagal,
That's what we
it's
were talking
almost
about.
instantaneous.
I'm going to turn it
So you can
on.
do it on your hands, you can do it on your face, and it's a very easy, very quick way to transition from fight or flight. So,
Okay.
and you don't have to buy ice. That's why, like, it's basically a big salad mixing bowl or baking bowl that I just keep icy, so it's always available. Did I see Kat sneak in while I was off? Yes.
You did.
And is that Sherry? Yeah, okay.
Keep
Welcome.
up, Bart. Keep up.
Hey,
Hey.
I was transitioning.
Morning, Woody.
Good morning. Good to see you're back. You're transitioning.
Getting
Yeah.
my socks on. Yeah.
Everybody's
Okay.
transitioning from summer to fall too.
Yeah.
Great, too.
So I got a reading today. So for those of you who haven't been continuous with us, I started out again trying to emphasize the importance of being in touch with the energy in your body. Starting with a statement from the Buddha that if you're not aware of your body, you're not in the highest states of mind that you can reach. And by that, we don't mean something supernatural. We mean the breadth of experience that you can have of your life. And so we started talking about the koshas. The koshas are considered like sheaths, layers of ways of experiencing energy. So in the West, we experience external senses. These are ways of beginning to tune the internal senses towards energy, and energy is spirit. So if you want to know how to know God, you know God by sensing the energy in your body. Your body is the receptor and the translator of that unformed energy into a form. You're a formal expression of the universe. You're a way that the energy is coalesced in a particular place of time and space. But all the qualities of that energy are in you and available for you to experience. So how do I know that the universe is compassionate? I know the universe is compassionate because I'm compassionate. If the universe wasn't compassionate, I couldn't exist as compassionate. Does that make sense? If the universe wasn't awareness, I couldn't exist as awareness because everything that I am is of the universe. So the first thing that we were doing was to begin to attune to our physical sensations. And this is not optional. So when you're meditating, if you're not aware of the sensations in your body, you're not really meditating. You're kind of head tripping. So staying in your body, staying connected to your breath is the way you anchor in the present moment and the way you begin to anchor in that flow of energy that you are and the universe is. So Rumi has this wonderful poem that I found last night. He says, there is one way of breathing that is shameful and constricted. We all know that breath, right? Then there's another way, a breath of love that takes you all the way to infinity. Now that sounds like breath might be something you want to explore. In this moment, am I breathing in a way that's shutting me off from the universe? Am I doing that we do so often, that chest breath? Or am I doing that full body breath where the release is a total surrender of everything back out to the universe, take it all in, give it all out, like Father Kennedy's example of the moon. She takes in all the light of the sun and gives it all back, keeping nothing for herself. That's the possibility that our breath holds as we begin to pay attention to it. So the first kosha, the first layer that we become aware of, are the sensations in our body. And then the next, that's the Annamaya kosha. The second kosha is Pranamaya kosha, the energy. And Richard Miller explains it like this. He starts with the quote from one of the Hindu scriptures: one who understands the breath quickly tastes the ecstasy of liberation. Let me say that again. One who understands the breath quickly tastes the ecstasy of liberation. He says, rotating attention through the physical body awakens understanding of the body as an infinite field of radiant vibration. So first we begin to feel that radiant field of energy that our body is. Then as we experience this vibratory field, what at first is perceived as gross sensation gives way to subtler energies of layers of energy. We begin to naturally experience the subtler energy body of Pranamaya kosha that animates and gives life to the physical body. Okay, so in scripture, when it says that God breathed into Adam and he came to life, that idea and association between breath and our vitality is established in almost every religion. So again, these are not just pretty little myths to explain something. This is the way they explain profound experiences of the impact of the breath on the energy in the body. Our breath is intimately linked to the energy body, and it is here that we become mindful of our own breathing, which allows us to transition gracefully into stage 2 of Yoga Nidra, the exploration of the sheath of energy that animates the physical body. We initially contact and explore the energy body by being attentive to our breathing. We join with and follow the breath without interfering. We observe and experience the body being breathed through its natural cycles of inhalation, retention, exhalation, and suspension. We don't change or alter the breath in any way. We simply note and experience the breath as a spontaneous activity. By attending to the breath, you become conscious of the subtle energies that animate the breath and give life to the physical body. So again, what we're trying to do is to get to an existential experience of these teachings, not simply, oh, this is something I believe. And that's what I look for in teachers. I look for teachers who are actually experiencing what they're teaching. They're not just passing on a teaching. Like I can pass on Rumi's teaching very easily. I can pass on that scripture about the breath. That's accomplishing nothing. But when you learn that skill of feeling the energy in your body and its impact on your body, then you've accomplished something. So that's the invitation we're extending here. So I'm going to take you from the gross body into the subtle body. We're going to go through two aspects of breath. So he's talked about the natural aspect of breath. So your body is literally breathed by your unconscious mind. Remember the 20 million bits I talk about? It breathes your body all day, breathes your body all night when you're not conscious. But the breath is one of those physical things that we have that we also have a measure of conscious control over. So I can hold my breath. I can interrupt that cycle. So at the very end, we're not only going to be aware, but we're going to experiment with some measure of control over this energy through the breath. So I invite you to get in a comfortable position, again, as we're exploring inward invite you to close your eyes if you've got to a place where the external world is not a distraction to paying attention to your inner world. You can, of course, certainly keep your eyes open. And just begin by becoming aware of the sensations of the breath at the nostrils. For most of us, this is the most intense area of awareness when we begin. Just letting awareness directly connect with the sensations. Nothing to add, nothing to subtract. Just awareness directly connecting with the sensations of the breath. Feeling the impact of the energy being translated into sensation. Awareness, energy, becoming sensation moment to moment. The cool, biting quality of the in-breath. The pause. The warmth, moist quality of the out-breath. And now keeping your awareness anchored on the nostrils, we're going to explore expanding your awareness very naturally by layering on the experience of the sensations in your sinuses. Noticing that energy follows awareness. As you direct your awareness, you become aware of sensations that are always there, but perhaps you're not aware of during your day. Gentle flow of energy, allowing the breath to breathe itself as much as possible. If the mind tries to interfere, thank it for showing up and invite it to leave. Now, keeping your awareness anchored in this, begin to experience the breath in the back of the throat. Again, not trying to think this or force this, but notice that for some of you, it'll be very easy to just let the awareness slide down the back from the sinuses into the throat. Awakening awareness of the sensations, again, always present below the level of our awareness. The mind wanders, gently bringing it back. And now allow the awareness to slide down into the brachial tubes. Feeling those sensations just above the heart. Awareness connecting the nostrils to the back of the throat, the sinuses, into the chest. Now following that awareness into the lungs. Tuning to the alveoli expanding and contracting. Feeling the breath in the body. And now let's move to another level of impact. Keeping your awareness on these sensations. See if you can hold those at the same time you expand very naturally to the expansion and contraction of your rib cage. The shoulders. I like to think of it as a gentle massage from the inside, inviting the chronic tension in the shoulders to relax, the tightness and heart chakra to ease. Allowing the in-breath to soften and expand. And again, settle into the space that you've created with the exhale. nostrils, sinuses, back of the throat, brachial tubes, lungs, ribs, shoulders, all becoming more alive as we bring awareness to them. Now flowing down into the abdomen, feeling the impact of breath. And the diaphragm. The diaphragm creates the inhale by contracting. Forcing the abdominal wall out. Creating space for the breath. And exhaling, contracting back. Deflating the lungs. And feel that movement in the belly. What's called soft belly breathing. Awareness of the breath in the belly alerts you to tension, that tightness. Softening the belly to receive the breath. And seeing if you can feel the sensations all the way to the pelvic floor. How delicious it feels to draw the breath. Aware of the breath's physical impact on the whole body. And if you've been able to follow us so far, notice how your breath is connecting all your chakras except for your crown chakra. The sinuses, 6th chakra, the throat, 5th chakra, the lungs, heart chakra, the abdomen, 2nd, 3rd, 1st. And let's begin to play with this energy. The in-breath is the breath of life. It's like a wave rolling in full of energy, nutrients. The first act of life is the in-breath. And not trying to create anything, just begin to notice the subtle change in sensations in the whole body with the in-breath. Keep your awareness expanded on the whole body. See if there's some area of the body where the energy feels more pronounced on the inhale. A subtle increase. May feel like pressure, may feel like vibration, may feel like warmth. May feel like a heaviness. But See if you can experience directly the truth of the body being impacted by the breath by subtly increasing. Now, notice what happens in the body when you exhale. The breath of death, the last act of living. Total surrender, giving back the energy like a wave withdrawing, carrying away the debris, leaving the beach smooth and calm. And see if you can't feel with the exhale a movement of the energy outward. For most people, it's through the hands or the feet. It could be the heart. Could be the lower energy centers, upper and lower dantian, second and third chakra, or it could be first. The in-breath, drawing the energy in, filling you with vital life force energy. And exhaling and releasing. The exhale cleanses. And you can even let your awareness go to subtler levels, knowing this is happening through your blood. Bringing energy and nutrients to every cell, carrying away the carbon dioxide and the waste, purifying and cleansing you on a physical level. See if you can feel that same process of what's called perfusion happening in your body every moment, like a baptism. I like to think of it. Bringing in that pure, vital, cleansing energy and releasing all the stale energies. Restoring you to factory specs. So just take a moment in silence to experience the breath in whatever way feels most delicious to you, most natural. Relax, allowing yourself to enjoy riding the flow of breath rather than trying to control it. Allowing the breath to breathe you. Allowing yourself to receive the gift. Fully savor it. And then release it with gratitude, trusting that the next breath will naturally come, bringing a new gift. Okay, sports fans, what you got?
I feel yummy.
Who is that?
Ajna,
Okay.
I second that.
I third that. And the one from last week too, it was just, I used it during the week a lot to just kind of settle and get into where I wanted to go. And it was funny that you were talking about energy because one of my favorite meditations that we did with other people was a Jack Cornfield one that we did with energy. And I can't access it because it's the one that got screwed up for YouTube where the signal wasn't that good. So I try to allow that
I like the word aspire.
I aspire to allow that feeling that connected with that energy that surrounds me.
Yeah.
You know, and yeah. And I got closer to it using those techniques from last week. So I'll work with this one. Thank you.
And you know, you're really speaking to a fundamental point about our culture is we're always trying to get more energy and we're all running around feeling drained, but we don't
Mhm.
associate the lack of energy with our rigidity. And if you
Uh,
think of yourself as a cell membrane, and if you're rigid, then it blocks that flow of energy coming in and it blocks the flow of energy out. And that's why putting up a wall with resentments or anxieties or shame seals us off from the energy around us. And then we feel fatigued and we only run on our internal batteries. So all the stuff you're reading on how to get more energy will do nothing more than replenish the batteries. But it's not teaching you how to access this natural connection, which is why my church is called the spiritual connection. Is because once you plug into the cosmos, you've got a lot of energy, but you need to soften. Now that doesn't mean not being vulnerable, invulnerable sometimes. Like Rumi says, there's a window that opens from heart to heart. You know, sometimes it's open, sometimes it's completely closed, not a needle's eye of access. Both ways are appropriate at times. So when I'm in hostile environments, I don't want to take on that. So I shut her down at the field. But when I'm out in nature, in New Zealand, I want to open up and soak up as much, be a total sponge. So those of you who are empaths, since I'm sensitive and I take on other people's energy and blah, 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 you don't, that's a great gift. Keep the gift. Just get wiser about when to stay open, you know, and which is why we have to learn boundaries. You know, it's okay to say, and I watched my teacher do that, and it would infuriate me. He would have people who would attack him or ask questions just to provoke him, and he wouldn't even engage them. We engaged trying to convince people to be wise. Waste of time. We learned that from Sharon Salzberg. I can't impact their karma.
Bart, may I
What?
say,
Yeah.
may I ask you or comment that that just episode of teaching we just had, I want to really thank you for the talking about how we're all after more energy but we're blocking it. The way you said it somehow made extra sense to me. It was a big message. And also, when I started breathing in our exercise, I couldn't stop yawning.
Yeah.
I couldn't stop yawning, and it was amusing to me because I wanted to stop, but then I got in tune with that want and I've always said my anxieties, I feel it most in my diaphragm where it feels like a 1,000-year-old light bulb. And that exercise just helped me really feel it relaxed and let go. So I thank you for that.
Oh, thank you. And Sherry, don't try to stop yawning. That's your going ventral. When you
Parasympathetic.
yawn, you're moving from fight or flight to ventral. You're relaxing, you're landing, okay?
I am, huh? Good. That's a good way to say it. Thank you.
So
It's a
that's
signal.
yeah, it's
It's a
it's a
signal.
signal that you're going home. You've just arrived. Yeah.
Parasympathetic nervous system.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
congratulations. Yeah, good validation.
Hmm.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I thought it really lovely to think of the image of the baby's first breath and the dying exhale.
Yeah.
And I thought I struggled a lot with anxiety lately, and the in breath then is like a pain. It's like, oh shoot, I got to breathe again, and the out breath is like death. And then I thought about the clouds that Woody talked about, and that kept me really going this week with my anxieties, thinking the clouds will move, its moods, and how the breath can be invigorating, and how the inhale invigorating, and the exhale can be so full of gratitude.
Yeah.
And it's the same inhale and exhale.
Yeah.
So I thought that was kind of nice. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, and thank you for this one today. I really found it really empowering to feel how the breath fills the body with energy and connects you with the energy around you. I mean, I found it very, very powerful. It was really a good one.
Well, thank you.
Okay.
And I wore my Tai Chi colors today on purpose. Andy and I, a fellow with Matthew, studied Tai Chi together. And Andy's been a teacher to me. He doesn't know this because he taught me some fundamental truths that my other teachers weren't teaching me about my movements and keeping them much more subtle than I was making them. But the whole thing in Tai Chi is learning how to feel that energy in the body, and beyond that, to begin to work with it. So when I was beginning to talk about feeling the energy where it naturally moves out, what got me into doing energy healing was that at the end of my week, I would feel like I had catcher's mitt of energy around my hands. It felt stagnant. It felt like I couldn't move it out. And so I went to a friend of ours in the church, Larry Andros, who was a Reiki master, and said, teach me how to use this energy, how to use it to heal. So you can, not only can it be used to help you feel more alive, more connected, more grounded. And that's the paradox. We're right on the paradox of spirituality, and you're experiencing it directly. And that is, I'm feeling both more relaxed and more alive, more energized. That's a paradox.
Mm-hmm.
I'm feeling expansive at the same time that I'm feeling grounded and connected.
Mm.
That's the yin and the yang, okay? These aren't just concepts. These are experiential categories to begin to describe the polar shifts of a continuum that our energy rides on. Light and dark, spacious and contracted. All of that is ways of talking about spirit. We're talking about spirit now, the sacred, and how the sacred moves. That's what the Tao means, or the Dharma. is that energy follows these patterns, like you're saying, with the in-breath and the out-breath, the receiving, the giving back. The giving back, we talk about grateful. If you're really grateful for what you've received, you give it back. You don't keep it. That's our greedy society. We want to keep it. You know, it's energy saving devices. Where are you storing your energy? I want to know what all this energy we're saving, where is it collecting? Where's your bank account? I don't have one. So we can expend less energy, we can receive more energy. I don't know that we can save it.
We can manage it.
Yeah, the brahmacharya.
Yeah.
Brahmacharya. Okay, anybody else?
I really liked the whole way that each time that we focused on a different part of our body, I felt like I was going deeper and deeper and deeper.
Yeah.
It was really lovely.
Yeah. And isn't it amazing? All those sensations are available to you all day long. And when you anchor in them, you begin to feel that release that Sherry was talking about. So these are your gateways. These sensations are your gateways to peace and relaxation. They're not inconsequential.
I found it easier to feel the in-breath than the out-breath. Is there a reason? Am I weird?
I think the reason was it was easier for you to feel the in-breath than it was the out-breath. Nice type A question, Woody. You know, though when we start chasing those rabbits is when we lose contact with the present.
Yeah.
Just a simple acceptance. I found that easier.
Does it mean better?
Doesn't mean you're better or worse.
worse?
It just means for you that was easier.
Right.
So stay with what's easier and then just try to expand and nuance it a little bit. Okay, so what is happening with the out breath? Instead, increase your curiosity, not in terms of your head trying to figure out a reason, because Buddhist thought doesn't believe in causality. And you're going to go, well, yeah, some things affect. They say, no, but what caused what you're calling the cause to be the cause? And then you get into an infinite regression where because it's all happening simultaneously, you can't isolate a single cause. So don't ask the question. It's just like, who am I? You're changing continually. Anything you say about yourself could be false in 10 minutes. So just stay with the observation. I found that easier today.
My feeling at the time was, where did all the in-breath go? I feel like I'm not breathing out as much as I'm breathing in. So where did all that in-breath go? And that's a moot question.
Well, but that's a little more interesting question. Okay, is where, okay, and where it's going probably is in blocking you from experiencing the pain of your life. So when you holler at a kid, God damn it, Woody, stop that right now. What happens to your breath? Your body goes rigid, you hold your breath. So we hold our breath not to feel. That's basic Alexander Lowen, bioenergetics. So, yeah. Hard to let go. Hard to be vulnerable. So
I think just a little side thing here. I think that we hold our breath because of fear. We kind of hide like an opossum.
yeah,
You know,
exactly.
we think if we hold our breath, then it'll all go away.
And you're exactly right. So in polyvagal theory, what they're calling dorsal is actually a possum response. It really is a playing dead. so nobody will hurt me. So I withdraw all my activities. I try to move as little as possible, express as little as possible. So yes, you're exactly right. Fear constricts, shame constricts, anger constricts. All those constrictions are ways of not being alive. It's choosing death. I'm choosing to hold on, not give back. Okay, that's not living, that's dying.
Hey, Bart.
What was that line? This is not living, this is not the Beatles tune.
Hey, Bart.
Yeah.
It's Andy. Now, I was just going to say one of the good feeling that I hit after, well, again, I always tend to start fighting reverse breath until I kind of release and relax into natural breath. Once I did, again, kind of giving everybody else an analogy of the feeling of the in and the out, that there's really, once you find that connection that there is no in to the in or the out, that you try to keep it the continual loop. It's kind of like the best feeling I can explain, that the effortlessness of it when you relax and release into it. It's like when you're on a swing.
Mhm.
Yep.
Once you build up that rhythm to where you can have that point of space-time pauses before the release, but you can feel the pull up and you're expecting that, and then you just feel and go with the release out. And so that's the game I like to play. And again, to really relax into, there is no beginning at the end, but hold that pause at the beginning and the end to feel that pause in the space time, and then relax and release and go into it. And that'll really kind of, you stop chasing the end and the beginning, you just flow with the change.
Right. Exactly. So when he said reverse breath, they may not know that language. So we spend all this time teaching you in yoga breathing to expand the belly, but for martial arts, we will contract, and on the in breath, do the opposite of what you're supposed to do, which is to bring the belly back towards the navel. And then when you exhale, to expand the belly. So, and what that does is it creates more fire. So this is, again, you can control the energy in your body by the way you breathe. And you've heard me say that before. If you're anxious and you do the 4 in, 8 out, and accentuate the out breath, you will relax. If you accentuate the in breath, you will energize. So when you look at power lifters or people who are about to do extreme exertion, before we go out, we go, football team, watch the Maoris do their hakas, the All Blacks in New Zealand, out on the, that breath energizes you. Try it. Can you feel the energy just flooding up into your head? So try it. Don't be
Well, I remember Samantha. So at the Tai Chi demo the other day in Shreveport, Bart's daughter laid on the bed of nails with a bare back and with concrete blocks stacked on top of her, and then with the man hitting the blocks with a sledgehammer. And she was on the bed of nails. But before that, she built energy, and she showed the crowd how to do that, which was using that breath to energize the body before she laid on the nails. And then afterwards, she didn't even have a red spot on her back, nothing.
Yeah. And as a father, I'm not sure. I totally appreciated the fact that they had a guy underneath her laying on a bed of nails.
Yep.
So
He was
he's on a
getting
bed of
worse.
nails. She lays on top of him on a bed of nails, and then they break a cinder block with a sledgehammer on top of both of them.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
God,
Great.
there's so much to learn.
Okay. Let's go back, but as we finish up here, to one last story that Ajna used to love when we were first starting, about the guy who goes to his teacher and he says, "I find following my breath boring. There's nothing to engage me with my breath." So the teacher takes him out to the horse trough and sticks his head under the water. And he holds him down. The man starts fighting, thrashing, gasping. And when the guy senses that he's about to drown, he jerks his head out, and the guy goes, "Ugh!" And he says, "How interesting was that breath?"
That's a shot.
So
Yeah.
what I'm hoping, the Buddhists have a phrase that I love that we very seldom use: wholeheartedness. Wholeheartedness. We're practicing our meditations half-heartedly. And as Rumi says, that will never reach into majesty. That's not a breath that's going to take you where you could potentially go. It's a wholehearted, all of you present in the moment. That's called unification of the will. So one of the first things that happens in yogic practice is learning to shut off the external world. Then we learn to totally focus, single-minded focus. I mean, we don't chase rabbits, okay? We keep coming back here. Then from that single-minded intensity, we begin to expand outward. So first, keep the focus, keep your seat, keep anchored in the present moment, anchored in your body. These are the fundamentals. Wholeheartedly present to that. Then expand outward. So we're doing, again, an inward and an outward. Neither one right, both necessary, because you can't truly practice the expansion if you're not anchored. Does that make any sense? And, I'll read you next time, because we're going to take a little break to integrate this next week. Because some of you are probably going, "Well, I didn't feel anything. Everything felt numb." That's normal, okay? This isn't going to be an overnight shift from external awareness to inner awareness. But also realize it's just like going into the gym. You're only going to get out of this what you put into it. If you come in, you do this for an hour, that's great. But the point is not to get good at sitting on your cushion. The point is to carry this out. Can I be aware of my body, my energy when I'm gardening, when I'm driving my car? Can I even bring awareness while I'm reading a book, be aware of the world around me? So I'm just going to encourage you, as all the teachers will tell you, you're still too cautious. You're not totally committing yourself to being present to yourself. So that's an invitation. It just amazes me, all the things that we're being told turn you ventral and put you in the kingdom are enjoyable. Taking a hot bath, putting your feet in a cold bath, singing, dancing, going out in nature, putting your feet on the earth, just moving your body, doing yoga, meditating, they all feel good, and we don't do them.
Or we're not present for them.
Or we're not present when we do them. And ask yourself, why won't you let yourself be alive? Who taught you you don't have a right to enjoy this moment fully? You don't have to earn this. If you need permission, I'm a doctor. I'll write you an order. Say, you now have permission to fully enjoy your life.
Even
to go play.
Raking leaves.
Yeah.
Chores.
Go
Chores.
feel good. So and some of you have been with me when I go out in the front yard and go, "Today is the day the Lord hath made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. Lift up your hearts." We lift them up into the Lord. Amen, brother. Bob Marley had it right. Lively up yourselves. lively up yourself. Bring the party. You know, this is one thing I loved about the black churches, but the white church is getting it now, is we would sit there, they called us God's frozen people. Lift up your hearts. We lift them up into the Lord, you know. And you go into a black church, those people are ready to party. They're not waiting to be entertained. They're ready to get it on, get behind you. They want you to bring it and make it feel something and bring the spirit. And it's the same way at concerts. The more energy you bring to your life, the more you get out of it, the better show you're going to get. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
You know, you bring up the black church, and I read something, this is not related, but it just brought up this thought that I read something the other day that just, oh God, it hurt me. That, you know, black slaves were not allowed to laugh.
Or
You were not allowed to express joy. If you were caught laughing, you were beaten, maybe killed.
Yep.
So that might be why there's just so much rejoicing,
Yeah.
you know, in the church, because that was where we were allowed to be expressive.
Yep. Whitey ain't looking. We all have our slave master looking over our shoulder, making sure we got our nose to the grindstone and that you're doing something productive and get something accomplished today.
Yes.
And sometimes it's much harder to deal with that internal slave driver than it is somebody external, because you can get away from that person, but you can't get away from that voice in your head that's doing the same thing. So, good history to know. Also, so that you know, American slavery was the only slavery that would not allow their slaves to become educated.
Mhm.
Every other place you were educated, so you became a better property to be used. And so there's so many roots in terms of, for example, kids can memorize verses to hymns and memorize and quote scripture, but can't read, because it's basically a verbal culture, an oral tradition.
Mhm.
And our education system isn't addressed to that, which is why a lot of kids don't thrive, because they're not the support for that oral thing. They will shame you in their capacity to remember what they've heard. So a lot we need to know about how we got where we are today. So let's just own ourselves out. How many times are we going to increase our nitric oxide levels by only 40 times? Yeah. And those who
We're gonna own them.
Viagra, that's what Viagra increases. So
Oh, deep breath in.
Here we go.
wholeheartedly. Like a bird singing a song out to the universe.
I love your jazz hands, Linnell.
I taught jazz choir.
Everybody, turn the music up.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't know Unleash, Tiffany.
I like to represent the world today. I love everybody. Keep her out the
Love you
Gone
too.
a few
I
weeks.
love you, Daddy.
Love you
Here.
too.
I love all of y'all. Have a good weekend.
Love you all.
Pam, have a
Enjoy.
great trip.
Thanks. Take care.
Yes, Pam, safe travel.
Safe travels.
Yeah.
Yes.